I grew up on this property, and my favorite feature was always the line of old willow trees that bordered the neighborhood lake. They'd been planted by my grandfather decades ago, not just for shade and beauty, but because willows are natural water managers. Their roots drink up excess groundwater and stabilize the soil. They were gorgeous, too. Every summer they'd sway like green curtains, and every autumn their golden leaves would shimmer in the breeze. People would even come down to sketch or take photos. Everyone loved them. Well, everyone except the HOA. The neighborhood association across the street always had a bone to pick with me. Their president, Karen, constantly complained that the willows blocked the view of the lake from her McMansion's deck. She claimed her property value was being suffocated by my trees. I told her the same thing every time. They're on my land, they're staying put, and they're protecting the soil. Touch them and you'll regret it. But Karen never listened. One morning, I walked outside to find chainsaws roaring. HOA hired contractors were in my yard, cutting down every single willow. I sprinted down, shouting at them to stop, but by the time I got there, half were already gone. Karen stood smugly on the sidewalk, arms folded. "Now everyone can finally see the lake," she said with a smirk. I told her flat out, "You just made a huge mistake. Because here's the thing, those willows weren't just ornamental. Their deep roots were what kept the groundwater level stable. Without them, the soil acted like a sponge. And wouldn't you know it, just a few weeks later, the consequences came rolling in. The first signs were little puddles forming in people's yards. Then lawns started turning soggy. Driveways cracked as water seeped under the concrete. Basements began to flood after every light rain. But the real kicker came during spring storm season. With no willows to absorb the overflow, the groundwater rose, and the HOA's prized Lakeview homes ended up sitting in ankle-deep water. Gardens drowned. Mold spread through walls. Property damage skyrocketed. Meanwhile, my land stayed perfectly fine. Why? Because I still had part of the willow line left standing along my side. Their roots continued to drink up the excess, protecting my home and ranch while the HOA's houses slowly turned into swamp dwellings. Of course, Karen tried to blame me. She stormed up to my porch, screaming that I'd sabotaged the neighborhood and owed them money for damages. That's when I pulled out the environmental impact report I'd filed right after they cut the trees. It documented everything: the illegal cutting, the tree's importance to groundwater control, and the property damage risk. The county inspector didn't just fine the HOA for destruction of natural resources. They also ordered them to pay for flood mitigation measures. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars in drains, pumps, and soil repair. And guess what? They couldn't replace the willows fast enough. It'll take decades for new ones to root deep enough to work like the old giants did. So Karen got her Lakeview, all right, just not the one she imagined. Instead of gazing at a calm shoreline, she gets to watch her neighbors bailing out flooded basements and laying sandbags every time a cloud rolls in. As for me, I planted 2 more willows on my side of the property, just to spite her. And I made a little wooden sign facing her house. You wanted a view? Enjoy the swamp.